Hello, hello. How are you guys tonight? I am running a little behind. Don't have all my stuff together, but hey, we know that happens, right? Some of us have it all together, some of us have some together. You never know what you're gonna get. So tonight, we're gonna play with some little baby dragons here. I printed these out. They're digital stamps at Doux Designs. So I'm able to get them in both directions and any size that I want. So I thought we would start off with these. I have several other ones, but I think I'm just gonna go with these tonight. But you never know. I've been known to change my mind. So while I'm waiting for a few people to pop in and join, I am going to cut this one out. And if you pop in, just say hi so I can make sure that I can see comments. Who is getting excited for the new release video we're going to do tomorrow so you guys can see what's up and coming at Doux Designs. It's going to be super fun. You will not want to miss it. This one, I think you guys are going to like it. I know I got one viewer here. Don't be shy. Say hi so I can see who it is. In the meantime, we're just cutting this little guy out while we're waiting for a few more people to pop on because, you know, we're going to need these and they're going to need to be cut out. So might as well do them now. I have a sticky mat that we're going to use in order to hold them still while we color them. Hoping that my video is working. Seems a little odd tonight that no one is here. Just because my regular gals have not popped on yet. It might be a little bit of a more challenging night tonight. Hey Sandra, how are you doing? No baby girl yet, I guess. Well, maybe we'll just do this little baby dragon cheer for her and she'll decide to come visit us. You could hold off till the 7th and have it on my son's birthday. Although I'm pretty sure you're not wanting to hold off. I remember those days when you get right down to the end, you're so ready. So if anybody could just say hi so I can make sure comments are working. There we go. Hey, Cheryl. How are you? Okay, so I thought I was running late, and then and then there was nobody on here, so I was like, oh my gosh, where's everybody tonight? Are they out running errands? Or what is up? I'm hoping she comes soon, though. Yeah, I bet you are. Me too. Can you tell? I keep asking. If not, she'll like be born on the 7th or 8th. Well, the 7th is a good day. That's the day I had Kyle. 26 years ago. Eeks! He will be 26 this year. Yikes! Everyone's been asking you, I bet. When it gets close like that, everybody's all anxious. We know you'll post, but we're still worried about you. Want to make sure everything's going okay. This is one of the baby dragons, and because it's digital, you'd love her to be born on the 7th. It would be great, wouldn't it? It would give you time to get your new release done and then relax. So because these are digital images, I can do them in any size, and also I gave them to you in both directions, so you don't have to worry about that at all. We may use a third because, you know, we always go in 3s, but I haven't decided yet, so I'm not gonna I'm not going to completely cut this one out yet. I'm just going to cut the outside in case I decide midstream I do want to do this one. So I'm thinking just a plain card tonight. I mean, not a plain card, but just like a generic card. While I was looking for this stuff, I found this hello that we put here a while back that's still sitting there. I think we might use that. I did play around with some, how big are they? They look so small. It's, I don't know, a little bit of my finger. This is my whole finger, half a finger. I did some card shaping over paper ganza, so I want to do a little bit of that tonight. So I was thinking we'd just make up our own as we go along. So I folded this card. I'm over here struggling that you guys can't see it off screen. I didn't fold it in the right spot, so it's not all the way over to the edge, and that drives me crazy. So I'm trying to fix that real quick. Okay, so since we did these shaped cards, they always start out with the Z-Fold, which is like this. So it's just taking the A2 card and folding the top one in half. Okay, and that leaves you a Z-Fold. And I think that's pretty cool, but then what I really like is what you can add to it after that. So I think I might be making a few more of these days. And since we're going to have a second layer, I just don't know what color yet. I haven't decided. I pulled out these papers. So on one side they have a flower, and on the other side they're just patterned. Same with this one. I'm not crazy about that flower, but I do like this color with these colors. So I was thinking these two solids and maybe use some of these flowers. So I was thinking some kind of combination like this, which looks really good on the blue, but I don't know if we want to use yellow or green or red. So I thought we'd hold off and wait and see what we end up, what color we end up coloring these guys. But since we're going to have multiple panels, I wanted more than one dragon. They look big if you compare them to an A2. Yeah, I wanted them to fit. Like, I knew this one would hang over, but I wanted the little ones to fit on the panel. So, I mean, this is half of a, 4 1/4. So half of that. So 2 1/8 maybe is like about how wide it is. So it is a little bit small. This one's quite a bit bigger. But I can color them. I mean, it doesn't matter what size they are for me. That doesn't bother me at all. They color up a little faster when they're smaller anyway. But let's do it. Let's just put this little guy on here. Little girl. And let's put this one on there. And maybe we'll just do 2 to start out with, since we want to have some flowers and stuff. I'm probably going to use this hello, so probably going to color that too. And we'll put this one aside. And if we think we need it later, we can add to the card. But in the meantime, we're going to have to choose our colors. So, for you guys, I would like to know if you would like this dragon to be in like a tealish blue or a greenish color or a yellow or orange, reddish. Kind of tell me what color you guys would like to see, and we'll go from there. The paper I'm using is from Stamplistic. It's really cute. There's actually 2 packs in here. I put 2 of them in here, but this one on top is just flowers on one side, pattern on the other. And they're all like that. So you'll get a flower and you'll get a pattern. So you can use it either way you want. And I just picked out some of my favorite colors out of there and decided to go with that. So that's what we got there. But I have to pick my colors now. So I'm not really sure what I want to go with. But lime green one is, okay, so a lime green, we could definitely do that. I think lime green is good too. Let's choose. So I'm grabbing a few colors here. And let's see what we got. So I just grab a few of my favorite colors and then we just run with them is kind of how I just start getting ready to choose my colors. So let's see if this one comes out right. Hey, Peggy. So this one is G99 because we're going to need a shadow. And then this one is YG67, which normally goes pretty good together. And I like that it goes from real dark to a more green. And then this one starts going into the yellowish lime color. So YG17 lightens it up even more. I like that. There'll be more of these last two colors because that way we'll get that more lime green. YG03, that gets us to our very light color. And then we're gonna throw in this YG21 because it's what we really need in order to really get up to that lime green. So we can roll with these. We won't put a whole lot in the dark, but it's good to have more markers if you want to keep it close to all one color, because I like to do the wings and the underside of the dragon and some of the accents with the darker colors and then make the body the lighter colors. So we got to have more colors. Hey, Darlene. Super happy to see you. Now we need a second color. So we're going to have like a lime green dragon, and then we could go with pink or orange, like a light orange, almost like a sherbet, or I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm in Sturgis, South Dakota with my motorcycle. Wow, traveling around. I like this dragon too. He's digital, so we can make it in whatever size we want. Currently in the shop, digital. What do we think? Pink? Okay, let's do pink. Now, pink is usually a fairly challenging color only because the pinks from the different families and stuff are such different pinks. And I'll show you what I mean by that. This is R22, so pretty pink. This is RV14, and that's a hot pink. And then this is RV23, soft pink. So while they'll match, this one has a little bit more of a salmon color. This one's a little bit more of a hot pink. These two will go together. So we could potentially use all of these, but we want to get a few colors, probably one lighter and one darker, just to make sure that we have enough of the range. If we go any darker on this one, it becomes red because that's just the way the colors go in the markers. But we could go either RV25, which would give us a cross between those two, or we could go RV17, which gets darker than that one. So that's pretty good, but when these dry, they're really close. So we could throw that one in for transition if we need it, but we're definitely going to need something lighter. So let's try the 21. Oh, that's good. I like that pink color. Okay, so now that we've kind of played with this, let's put it in the order that we want to use it. So this is going to be the RV17. It's the darkest one. And then I'm going to set them in order over here. And then we have probably RV14 maybe. We're pretty good there. And then RV25. Yep, that's a little bit lighter, so that works out good. We picked those right. If you find out later it's not right, you can always redo it. This is just our test run to make sure everything blends well together. So far, so good. This one is RV23 and then RV21. So we can have a pink and a green dragon. And of course, we'll have to choose eye color because we don't want pink or lime green eyes, you know, because that can be just craziness. So maybe blue, because we're going to have a lot of blue in our paper pad. So maybe I'll stick with, let's see how these colors blend. This is going to be a little bit different for eyes than what I normally do. So this is B97. It's going to give us our really dark part of the eyes. And then sticking with the B95. And then I wanted to change it up a little bit, so I grabbed B52, which kind of moves it into a really pale, but almost has a little bit of green with it. Hey, thanks, Peggy. And then, of course, you know I love to use the G00 like this, because look, that gives it that really nice highlight through the middle. So we're definitely going to use that. So that worked out. Now there are times when I test out the colors and they don't turn out right, but in this case, we did pretty good. Now for the horns and the inside of the wings, when I color those, I like to do those in a different color than all the rest. So I'm thinking, because there is some light brownish yellowish color right there, that maybe I want to do it in more of a taupe color. And I usually use the E40s, but let's switch it up tonight because we don't always want to do the same thing. So let's try, I'm not sure if this is going to be too dark, so I'm going to start with the lighter one first. Let's try the 50s. So this is E55. Ooh, that looks really good with this, doesn't it? Really nice. Okay, that's going to be good. I like the 55. And then the 53. Yep, gets lighter. I like that. And we might as well go with the 51. And I think we'll do that. But when we do the, like the inside of the wings, not necessarily the horns, but the inside of the wings, I need a little bit darker. So I'm going to grab E57 and go on this side. And while it's a big jump there, I think it's okay. You know, I think it's going to be okay. So that's what we'll do the horns with. And I like to do them first because they are the lightest of all the colors that we chose. So I have these scraps laying all over my craft room because I do test when I'm not on video as well. It's always better to test on a piece of paper than to test on your project and have to start over. So highly suggest not doing that. I will have some test stuff coming soon, so just be patient. I'm going to be working on it this month some more, and then I'll have some suggested colors and some blank charts and things like that that'll help you do this on your own when I'm not live, because you know you can't always catch me live. Although I do try to be live a lot. Don't miss tomorrow at 8 p.m. Don't miss. You won't want to miss seeing what's coming up next. I got a list. We got all the photographs done today, so we're ready. Okay, so when we start with, I'm going to start with the wings. I'm going to get whatever is real close to the body and all the way up in these little corners right here, because that's where I want the most shadow to be on these little dragons. Stay down on the sticky pad, please, and I will be happy. Now on this side, it's a little bit harder to see, but it's right here is the same as on that side. And then up here, we'll just touch these top areas right here to get that depth in those wings. Because they're, the way the dragons turn, you have to be a little bit more careful with that one that's up front, because it won't be as spread out and easy to see as the one in the back. So I'm just following the exact same pattern on this one. Even though it's sitting in the opposite direction, I'm still going to use the same colors on this area in here. I love these dragons, and let me tell you that everyone else loves them too. I'm just going to do one little line right up close to the head, no more than that. That's it, just right up close. Just shows a little bit of depth right there where it goes into their head. Hi, Diana. Did you figure out your bottle colors? How'd that work out for you? I was curious to find out. E55 is our next color, and this is the one that I really wanted to start with, remember? For the horns. So I left a lot of this plain. There's no scales, there's no, you know, it's very, very plain. And that was for a reason. That's so you're not forced to do the design that I chose. It's so you can make it however you want. So for these horns, I like to have just a little bit of lines in it, so it looks like it's got a little bit of wear on it. The little horns have a little bit of wear. And I don't like them to be exactly the same everywhere. You have not colored it yet? Oh, don't be scared. You got this. I know you can do it. We can do, I can show it to you here shortly. Anybody who wants to stick around at the end, if you're still here, I'll show you and give you a quick rundown of what it would look like to color the bottle with the colors I suggested. And maybe that'll give you a little more courage. Okay, so we're extending from where we put those dark colors, and all we're doing is putting those accents in the horns. You could do them plain, or you could do them a little more circular, like you could give them a circular loop in the horns, but it's just entirely up to whatever you're feeling at the moment. So I'm going to go on this top one all the way down that area right there. Now, the reason we start with the light colors is so we don't drag any dark colors into our light colors. And it also helps us, if we go outside the lines, we can always cover it up because this is the lightest color. The other ones will be darker, so we won't have to worry about that at all. That's why I like to start with these. I mean, I have a reason for it. I would say that, like, when you're doing a person's skin tone, I like to start with that. I used to always start with that and hair, because if I was going to mess up, I was pretty sure it was going to be on those areas, and I didn't want to get too far into the image before I said, yeah, no, that's not what I want. Although I did learn long ago, don't give up. Even if you think something doesn't look good halfway through, because sometimes they don't. You're too close to it. You can't see the amazing look that it has from far away. That's why sometimes, even when I'm coloring here at night with you guys, sometimes I'll say, and then I'll hold it up a little bit away from me and kind of look at it again, and then I'm like, oh, I kind of like that. So don't give up on yourself right away, because it can happen to a lot of us. E53 is next, and I only have one more color after this, so this one is definitely going to have to go around the outside. So I'm going to go around the top really, really lightly, and a little bit thicker on the bottom. It's going to kind of leave us this one little area for the last color. So with this one, little thin on that side and then a little thicker on this side. And we'll do the same thing with this one. So I might as well go ahead and do that right now. A little bit thicker here in the back. It's so tiny. This one's so much tinier that if you struggle with it being too small of an area, don't worry, you can just do it with those two colors. It takes a lot of practice to do those very small, tiny spaces. And on this side, we stop with this color because it's all kind of scrunched up, so it's going to stay darker anyway. And on this side, around the outside, and then just along the edges a little bit. Around the outside, along the edges. Leaving that white space for our last color. I usually don't use these colors, but I'm really kind of like them in here. This is really looking like about the target I was going for, which is always a good thing. Around the edge. Just around those transition periods, because you don't want to have something that's not blended out. There we go. And then we'll finish off these. Now, I was going to do, there are two more areas that we have to decide. One is, do we want the spikes to be colored or do we want them in this tan color? And what about the underside? It would be the side, it would be the same as what you would see on his belly if you could see his belly. So I'm thinking just this area along the bottom should be in these colors and not the spikes. I think we should do the spikes different. E51's the last one. We'll come back in with the darker color for the underside of the belly because it is underneath and is going to have to stay a bit darker. So I don't want to start with E51. So we'll come back in with that 57 here in just a minute. This color right here, you don't need a whole lot. And don't blend too much because it'll wash out your color. Because this one has a lot of colorless blender in it. So you don't want to put a whole lot, just a little bit. If you catch yourself putting too much, get the color before and add a little more back in. Like I'm a little concerned about this one tiny spot right there. Which is a perfect opportunity to share with you how I would fix it. First, I would try the next one up, which is E53. And that works. That fixes the problem. If it didn't, I would go to the next one up, which is E55. And then I'm just going to blend out one more time for this transition spot with that E51. Only I'm going to be real careful when I touch it. I think maybe the tail too, but we'll wait and see what we think. Once we get a little bit more color on there, we can decide at that point whether we want to do the tail in the color of the body or the brown. Hey Beth, welcome, welcome. Okay, I'm gonna do this one. Normally I would do along the bottom because it's what's touching the ground, and I would do along the top. This is a really thin area, not as much on this one, but definitely on the smaller one. So I'll just opt for the bottom. And don't worry, if you go outside the lines, you can use the colorless blender to push it back in. I did pretty good on that one, so I don't have to worry about that. I think I'm going to do a little bit along the edges too, these little lines, so they stand out a little more than they do with black. Just because I want them to, you know, show up a little bit better. And these ones are pretty small, so you can see the difference when you put it in there, how much more it stands out, huh? Hey Mom, you snuck in when I was looking down. There we go. A little bit more there. And there we go. Now, I want this to stay pretty dark, so I'm just going to go to E55 and finish it with E55. We're going to leave it darker than the rest. So here we go. I don't want to blend too much. I want to see the transition between dark to light. So I'm not going to spend too much time blending. Just want to be able to see that. This is a digital set. There's 4 dragons in the set. I believe that I have 3 of them printed out, so I can show you what 3 of them look like. But the other one I don't have printed out. So there's this one, and there's this one, there's this one, and then there's a flying one as well. So there's 4 different dragons, and you get them in right and left directions. And they're super cute. It is a digital though. There'll be more dragons in my future because I love dragons, but for now, these are digital. E57, we're just gonna do these little claws right here. So on the toe, right there, and then on this one. There we go. All right, so far so good. I think that color matches really well with this inside color right here. See? It's almost like a perfect match there. I really like it. So I think we did good on that color. Now, I think we'll make the bigger dragon the green and the littler dragon the pink one. So we'll go ahead and get started. I think I'm going to start with the eyes and get them out of the way because they're a little bit more challenging because we're not just going to do easy, simple eyes. We're going to do a little bit more elaborate. So sit back and get ready. This one is B97. And what I'm going to do, let's start with the smaller one. So I'm going to go along the top, just like this. And I think right along here as well. And then I'm going to go around the black part of the eye just to extend it out a little bit so you can see the blue. Just like that. It's kind of made that eye look a lot bigger, didn't it? But it'll be okay. So same thing on this side. I'm going to go around the top. And then I'm going to go around the eye, which is going to kind of cover the whole top part of that eye. Just like that. Now I'm going to grab B95. So first was 97, now we're at 95. And we're going to start right where the darker color led off and go all the way around. I'm going to start putting some little lines in here. Should have needed that with the darker color, but I wasn't quite sure, so we're going to go with this one, and if we need to add in the darker color later, we can do that. I'd rather start lighter and go darker than to start dark and be like, oh, darn, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so next we have B52. Again, we're going to go around this edge where we stopped with the last color and extend a little more. I'm also going to put a few of these lines come in the opposite direction. You probably won't notice them all that well because these eyes are so light. And then a little bit from here. Then I'm just going to touch 1 or 2 in between there just to fill in that white really quick. I really like that so far, but I feel like it needed a little bit more of this B97. So I'm going to trace those same lines I put in with the darker color. but I'm going to do it in teeny tiny little strips, not big ones. So notice it looks like I moved my marker over the paper a whole bunch of times, but I'm really not. I'm just barely touching the paper, and that takes a little bit of effort. So while it looks like I'm touching the paper 10 times right there, I'm really not. Just kind of hover over the paper until you get to the point that you want to be. So we're going to do this side as well. It's a way of getting that very thin line. Now we're going to come back in with B95, and this time we're going to go from the other end. Now we tried to do that with that lighter marker, but it didn't really work. So we're going to try it again with this one. And if you end up with a really thick line like I did right there, don't worry about that. It's okay. No eyes are, you know, completely perfect all the way around. So now that it has a little bit darker color in there, we can fill in with our B52 a little bit more than we did before. This will darken the eyes just a little bit, but don't worry, we still have the G00 to lighten it up. But if you want that wow factor, it's got to be slightly darker than what we had. This is G00, and this is where we play around with that magic potion going on. So I'm going to put this just along here, and we're going to do it in a C shape in the same area. I'm just going to go back and forth until we start seeing that color move. Once we start seeing that color move, we're going to wait and let it go for a minute, because it'll keep moving once you stop, and you don't want to wash it out. And then if we see there's a spot we need to add to, we'll just add to that now, giving it just a second or two to work out. So you see that really light line going across here? That's the epic part I'm looking for. So I'm going to put a little bit over here as well. Now, it does wash out the color a little bit, just because it is... it does have a lot of colorless blenders, so I'm going to come in here with my B52 and soften this part out, but I'm not going to go over the green part. I just want to soften those lines a little bit so it doesn't look so crazy. And then I'm also going to come in here and go around the outside one more time to deepen that up just a little bit. I told you these eyes were going to be a little complex, so... But they look super cute when they're done. And even when you get the rest of the dragon, they really pop. I have some of your digital items in my cart. Still confused how to print them out. Oh, they're so easy. So you download them. They'll come in JPEG, PNG, and then PNG white fill. And you'll download them. You can put them in a folder wherever you want on your computer. And then whatever program you use, that's up to you. I don't know what you have on yours, but I use both Silhouette and I use Notes. Is it called Notes? Pages. I use Pages because I have a Mac. So once I have the digital image sitting on my desktop, all I have to do is open a blank Pages, drag it in there, and reshape it. It'll just give you dot lines around the edge, and you can reshape it. If you have a different program, then let me know, because I also have another computer that has Excel, and there's a lot of programs you can use. So if you tell me what you have, I can probably try to do like a little short video and send it to you so you'll know how to do it. But it's super easy. You don't have the internet. Do you have email? If you don't have the internet, you probably don't have email either, do you? Do you have email that you check? Let's start with the big eyes. We're going to do them the same as the little eyes, but we have a lot more space to work with now. So along the top. hey honey, do you have to have the internet to do digital images? You just have to be able to get into your email, right?
You just have to be able to download it.
Yeah. You'll need some form of internet to download it, because it'll come like in your email. But once you have it downloaded, you do not need the internet to print them out, unless your computer, well, your printer probably needs internet too, so that might be a problem for you. I'm going to go ahead and do this part of the eyes that we waited till later, because we know that we're going to need to have it in this dark color. Sometimes we take for granted the internet. We just assume we have it, you know? When you have it, you think everybody has it. All right, next one, B95. This is where we start smoothing all the way around. You can kind of see this one a little better because it's much bigger. And you can modify the eyes however you want. You can do them simple or you can do them like this. It's up to you. Just softening these and extending that I put in there. And then we're going to do them from the other direction. And they're different lengths as well. Some shorter, some longer. That gets us a pretty cool looking eye already. These take some time and practice to do eyes like this. That's why I don't always do them like this when we're watching on a video, because it's a little bit more complex than just doing a simple eye, and both of them look really cute. So this is the B52, and I'm just going to touch in those areas and soften this edge right here, and then fill these in. There we go. And the one on this side, same thing. All right, and then our G00. And this time, I'm gonna do it a little bit thinner. But I'm gonna go until I see it moving. And then I'm gonna stop for a second, so I can kind of let it dry and see how much it's going to move, and then do it again if I need to. I'll go up a little higher on this one just because you can see. So cute. It kind of brings out that green in the blue green, and I love that. We're going to touch it with the B52 to smooth those two colors together again. We will have to touch the last color one more time, the G00, just to make sure we got a good blend and it doesn't look funny. So here we go. Just gonna soften that edge right there. I'm okay with it showing that edge a little bit because I want it to look darker around the outside. There we go. Now we need to get some more in this side because this side looks more blue and this side looks more green. Sometimes it takes a little practice, a back and forth, but I like that. They don't look as good as they're going to look when you get the rest of them done. So I usually do them last because they pop, but this time I decided to go ahead and just roll with it. So just trust it and keep going. All right, so now we have our RV17, which is our darkest pink. And here we go. I definitely want these spikes, and I think I'm going to do the tail in this dark color, and I'm only going to use probably 2 colors. So the back of this scale all the way down to the front. Just going to make all of that dark since I'm only going to use a couple of colors on this. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. The part that's closest to the body is going to get the shadow. And the lighter color will be above that. And we're just going to keep that same thing all the way down. And there's one hidden back here. Right here as well. So we're just going to put a little color in there. Now following this one again. And the next one. Closest to his head. And then this part down here, we're going to do that one more like this, making the tips of them lighter because they're in a different angle. There we go. So now we'll just need one more color. And then for this part right here, I'm going to do the bottom part of the tail dark and the top part of the tail lighter. So going around the bottom like this. And then I do want this center part to go up just a little bit more than the rest. And that's just for design only. Just whatever your preference is. Dragons! Yep, exactly. So now we're going to have some very small spots on these wings. So I'm going to start right here. Around the edges and the tips. So I am going to do this top part right here where it all sticks together. Top and bottom. And then we'll do the same thing with this one, starting here. And then it would go all the way up because this is that point right there. So this side's going to get quite a bit more of the pink, the dark pink. There we go. And now we're going to do that same thing on, no we're not, because we are not doing that dragon pink. If we do that, we'll have them both pink and we'll lose our green. Okay, so next we have RV14. This is the second color, so this is where we're going to finish up this part up here. So we're just going to fill that in, and then we're going to work that little area where it transitions from one color to the next. And there we go. Perfect. Both colors are pretty dark, but when it dries, you'll be able to see the scaling from dark to light. And I'll hold it up here in a minute when I have them all colored in so you can really see it. This side's a little faster than the first side because we're not deciding where to color. We're just left doing what is left over. I want to keep the wings darker too, so we're going to go ahead and finish the wings with this color. And we'll just come back in with the body in a little bit. We'll start over with the colors. We're just doing all the accent parts first. And then we'll repeat the whole process one more time for the green one, which I should have started with since it's bigger and easier to see, but we've already started. We're already there. Look how cute. So fast, so cute. All right. I'm going to go back to my RV17 for any really dark spots on the dragon. So this little leg that's over here, his little hiney that's right here, where that leg meets up. Are you watering? Are you watering my window?
No, but
right here where the arm is and where the leg meets, right there, just to give us a bit of dimension in there. And then I'm going to do just a little bit under his neck. I don't think I want to do anything with his face right now, but I do want to come along just the top line, since we did that a lighter color, the top line between the belly part of the dragon and the tail. Just like that. So it's a very thin line. Very simple thin line.
that's the wind.
That's the wind?
Yeah.
Is it gonna storm?
We might have a little bit of rain.
Okay, you guys, it's getting really windy out there. Thought Dale was watering my window. Okay, RV14 is next. So we're gonna extend out from where we put that last color. And this time we're going to come in here and we're going to put a little bit of shadow underneath these scales. Just these bottom ones for now. Up underneath the wings. Because that would definitely be shadowing our dragon. And then I'm going to go along this area where I put that darkest color. I can't believe how windy it is. You guys, when I don't go outside all day, I don't know what the weather's like. So it surprises me when it gets windy or stormy, or I don't even know that's happening. I'm definitely not a good weather girl, that is for sure. So we're really just touching those areas where we put that darkest color and just stretching it out a little bit. Now, since we didn't put any on the head, we now need to use this color. So this part back here would be more shadow. And then right along here up to the eyebrow. And then I like to put it just underneath these scales as well. And we're going to go all the way around where the scales are. And then up underneath the horns. Now, I'm not going to do his face yet. I'm just going to wait on that part. This is going to be pretty pink dragon. Okay, RV25 is next. And again, we're going to just keep extending, but in this case, this is the third color, I'm going to do the around the outside with this color. So I'm going to have all the outside colored in. And that includes right here. And now I'm going to start extending out as I go down from this area right here. Start getting that colored in a little bit. We're also going to do it along the side of these dragon wings. Up underneath the dragon scales. I think his neck would be dark enough right now. I'm going to extend from what's underneath his wing right here. Up the arm. We'll just do a little bit along there and then a little bit along here and the little foot. Now we have to do the face. So we're getting the body going, but I want the face to be a little bit lighter. So we're just gonna go around the outside of the face now. And notice I did the whole underside of his mouth. Be real careful that you only go around the eye this way. Don't go around it that way because that's the eyeball. little bit down here. And then just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go underneath this eye. So we can start building in that depth around the eyes. There we go. And maybe we'll just touch his little nostrils to keep them darker. Dragons! Okay, next we have RV23. And we're going to take that color and we're just going to leave a very light color for highlight. So you'll notice this one gets significantly lighter than the last color. So we will have to work on that transition section a little bit on this one. But I kind of like the way that looks, so I'm pretty happy. I like that look of it getting significantly lighter. It gives a really good effect. We're going to leave that little space right there for that lightest color that we're going to come in with here in just a few minutes. So we'll leave that part right there. And we'll leave a little bit on this back area right here. But we're definitely going to come back from the front. There we go. This part under his leg. Notice how I have to do a little bit more blending there to get that to smooth out a little bit. That's really important that we get it to smooth out like that. Now we're going to work on the face. So mostly we're just going to leave a little bit left for a highlight. This one. So you can see if I only go over this part around the eye right there, you see how you can see that line, like you can still see that line where I put the darker color. So we have to go over that line one more time to kind of soften that up. Sorry, his head's not staying stuck down. And once you go over that a little bit more, you get a nice, smooth, pretty, almost strawberry-ish color. So don't give up. Just go around it. I want to go all over his head. We're just going to leave a little area on his snoot open for the last color. And then we want to finish going around that eye, but not into the eye. Definitely don't make him a pink instead of whites of his eyes. So we're going to leave just that little bit on his nose for the lightest color. Now he's so cute. She, actually, because she's pink. And then we have RV21 to soften. So I'm going to start there, and I'm just going to do this back and forth real quick. See how well that blends. I'm going to do it on all this part right here and right here. And then we're going to go back. Man. And then we're going to go back and make sure we got a good blend, because right now we don't. Okay, well that was weird. I just had one of my lights went out. It just shut off all by itself. But not the rest of them. How bizarre is that? Who's excited about the release tomorrow? Are you guys excited? It's actually Saturday, but we're going to do the live tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Time. So make sure you're here. Look at how cute. See, and don't the eyes look so much better now that you have the pink on there? I would see that there's a little section in the eyes. Let me hold this up again so you can really see everything. See how smooth that is? I think we need a little bit more blending in the eyes. And I would almost say that we need to pull in B93 to soften that up, because I think it's just too harsh from the 95 to the B52. So I'm going to come in with this B93 and kind of soften a bit of that up. Now it is messing up my G00 a little bit, so we may have to touch with that again, but I really need this to be a little more smooth because I wasn't liking it so obvious. So here we go. That was pretty good. I think this is going to make it much better. Let's try that G00 again. And then I bet it's going to be what we wanted. And maybe I won't do it quite so much. I'll just do it slower and take my time and give it a chance to start moving around. Better. I like that much better. If it doesn't work at first, just keep going and you'll figure it out. Now I'm going to go in with my 95. You can't wait? I know I can't wait either. I'm going to go back in with my 95, not my 97, but my 95, and just darken these lines just one more time because they kind of get faded out a little bit. I went slightly too far on one of them, which is right there. So the way I fix that is grab my lightest pink color, and if I just swish right over it, it will wash out that blue and you won't even be able to see it. Yay! Now it pushed just a little bit too much, so I'm going to come back in with the darker one and fix that up, and then we are golden. All right, so I like the eyes a lot better now. They needed a little bit more dark. When we put the white in the eyes, it's going to be fabulous. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and color in that black area because you know how we are. We like to do the black area black so that it really stands out. So our eyes stand out a little bit more, which is important to me. And we'll do the white gel after it dries. So what I'm going to do is take this little guy off, set her to the side so I can move this one where I can reach it without sticking my hand in all the sticky. And we'll use the same colors and we'll do the hello as well. So we can go through this one a little faster. Because we've already done all the steps once. So starting with our G99, here we go. We'll just put this one over here so you guys can see how we're matching it up with what we already did. So starting with these spikes, we're gonna do that same thing we did before with the darkest color. It doesn't have to be a straight line. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just trying to get it a little bit done. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's a shadow after all. Shadows are never all the same. Here we go. Same with this one. Remember, it takes a little bit longer to do the bottom part of this than it does the second color, because we already know where we're breaking off the color. I'm flipping this guy upside down so I can kind of color on the side so you can see what I'm doing. Nice. All right, now we know that we're going to end up doing the tail and the wings, and so we're just going to roll with all those pieces right now. So here goes the wing up here. I don't know if you can tell, but this is a very juicy marker. And I can tell by just see how wet it looks. So you want to watch it when your marker starts looking really wet like that, because if you've overfilled it, it'll blob. So I tend to watch my markers as I'm coloring so I don't end up with any weird stuff happening. But I haven't had them blob since I started taking the other end off. So I haven't had that problem, but I do kind of watch them a little bit anyway, just to make sure I don't ruin my picture, you know. I have another one printed just in case it does happen, but I'd rather not. I'm just going to put a teeny bit of this one in here because I think we did the second color when we did that. And I think we did right along this edge. We're doing it all at one time instead of breaking it up in 2 sessions, since you saw it happen once already. Right here, along the foot, right here, here, arm, a little bit on the neck, maybe a tad bit back here, and I think that's it with that color. So next we're going to move on to YG67. So when we finish these colors this time, that should be it. We should be completely done with our little dragon. Okay, so along this part right here is going to get this color. And I think you can tell this one a little bit more, how there's a variation there. This color works really good, but this is going to keep those spikes much darker than the rest of the body. And that is what we are going for. And my mom loves green, so she's probably going to really like this one. There we go. Now we're going to work on these. And I might wait, since this is so dark, I might leave a little teeny bit of white for the next color. The next color is a little bit dark as well, so I think it would be good to leave it a little bit of room for the next color. Okay, now this is where we have to do a little bit underneath the spikes. I'm going to go this way too. These are a little bit, this is a little bit bigger dragon, so I might be doing a couple more areas than I did on the little one because you couldn't see them as well on the little one. So you can make them as big or as small as you want. It's up to you because, you know, you are the one with the control when it's a digital stamp. There we go. And then we're going to start along this tail area, extending out from that darkest line. In this bigger spot, you can see that big transition between the darker and the lighter right there. So we're going to ride that line a little bit more to soften it up so they kind of blend a little bit better. It usually doesn't take much more, but well worth it to do that extra step for sure. There we go. All right. Next, YG17. And then we'll only have 2 colors after this, so we're going to start doing most of the around the outside with this one, but not all of it, because we have a few more. I'm sorry. Let me grab YG67 one more time, because we need to do this. And along here, we missed the face. But I don't think we want to go much more than that. Okay, now round the outside with YG17. We're going to finish off these wings. See, it still keeps that color pretty dark with just a teeny bit of highlight. There we go. And the other wing is already done. So we're golden on that. Now we're going to start putting a little bit around the wings, just like we did on the last one. And then around the outside, so all the way around here. Just want to make sure you get really good blends in there. Around that edge of the wing. Probably finish off the foot. Looking good, looking good. I'm liking the blend. We gotta do these small slivers in here, which we'll probably just finish off because they're all in shadow anyway. And then I'm going to turn it upside down so we can do a little bit from this direction, because we want to start building that little bit above the tail a little bit further. This is our round the outside, so we're going to extend this up here. Now there's that blend again that we have to work on. This one right here. So I'm not going over the whole thing, just where that line is, to soften it up a bit. Along this one will be around the outside of that. Let's soften this one up just a little bit. I'll save that for a little bit lighter color here in a few minutes. Now we're going to start working on his head. Remember, around the outside goes all under his mouth, keeping consistent with the other one. That way they'll look like they're related. They'll have similar looks. I like that. I know you guys do too. We're going to make a cool shape card tonight. I haven't decided exactly the shape, but I'm really excited about it. I did them at Paper Ganza and I've really enjoyed it, so we are going to do it tonight. They're pretty simple, and you could do them your own way with your own folds and stuff, and we'll talk about that here in a few minutes, but it just makes it look different and cool. All right, next one's YG03. So with this one, we're going to finish a lot of it off, leaving just light colors for the end, for the highlight at the end. Now this one, I'm going to finish in the little tail. So I want it to stay a little darker than the rest of the body. And then we're going to start working our way around. So we have to soften those edges, and this is a much lighter color than the other one, so we got to get the color in there so it can start wiggling and moving around. And then we'll have to go back in and work that transition, and you can probably see this one happen a little bit easier than the darker one. Just start working right where they meet up. If you see it pushing it too far down, you can do this, pulling it out again, and then you get a much smoother blend. This is something you have to practice on. It seems fairly easy when I do it, but it takes a lot of practice to know how far to go with that. You know, how much more should I blend without losing the dark? And that's just, you have to feel it in your hand. Try it with your stuff. And don't get frustrated. Just keep going until you figure it out. Just keep practicing. Okay, going down here. I'm going to start filling this in. We're going to leave a little bit of that last little bit for the highlight color. And again, that highlight color is going to force us to do that double blending so that we can get that really smooth look. See, we got to work that little area right there. Otherwise, it won't look right. See how nice that turned out? You just have to work it, work it, work it. Whenever you see a spot, you can go back over it until you get it blended. You don't have to do it all at one time. You can go back to it and blend it out a little bit more if you notice that it didn't blend as well as you wanted. I also went in the eye with that green, so I'm gonna have to move it back out with my colorless blender, which is just another technique for you guys to see, so no worries there. And we're only gonna leave that little bit on the nose for the lightest color. So most of this is gonna get colored in. And it's significantly gonna look lighter once we put that last color on. Right now it looks like green. It doesn't really look lime green, but that last color is what's gonna throw it into looking more lime green. Just blend that out. Go a little bit more from the side of the face in towards the center. A little bit away from the eye. Right along here. This is where we're going to leave the open space. Now, I would normally get that green out of the eye right now, but I'm going to wait because we're going to saturate the paper with this last color, and I don't want to pull more into the eye, so we're going to do this part first, and while we're doing these, that will dry, and then we can move it. So, have my reasons why we're starting up here instead of at the bottom. Now, you see how light that color is? You have to work that one a little bit. I put a little bit of it in other places over top of the color just so that the lime-ish yellow part will blend out into some of the other colors just by putting a top coat of it on there. And then you get this like really pretty color. It takes a little bit of work, but it's so worth the results in the end. So sometimes I even just touch the areas lightly with this color just so there's enough of this color in there that the whole body like matches, you know? Sometimes when you add a different color like this, you have to work on that area. I'm not going to put any in the tail, but in this part of the tail because I want that to stay darker. But now we're going to work on this part right here. So it's going to look kind of funny right there until we start working it. If you feel like you can't get it to blend, you can always do tip to tip with the previous marker. But I feel like I'm going to be able to work this out. Just spread some of that dark into our light color. We'll kind of blend that together nicely. I'm going to put a little bit over this little leg because I want that color to be there. See how nicely that blends together? It just takes a little bit of time to work it out, and then you are good. I'm going to go back to my 93 and soften his eyes a little bit. Right along those edges. Just don't want that harsh line. This one needs it too. can't do one without the other. It's that B52. This is the B52. Oh, I like that B52 in there. So pretty. There we go. I'm go back to that 95 and deepen these lines in the eyes before we go in with that green marker. I think I'll do them a little bit from this side too, because it'll help with that transition that we're gonna do with the green one. The G00, and you can use 000 or 00, just whatever works best for you. I like the 00, but you can do whichever one you want. Let me touch in there, lighten that up a little bit. There we go. Oh, we're getting there now. Okay, we got a little bit in the eyes. So our colorless blender is here. We're just gonna push this out so it's not in the eyes anymore. And we have that done. We're gonna go over the eyeball with the black, just like we did the little one. See how much of a difference that makes? Look how bright that is compared to this. Now watch, when I do this one, super cool. All right, we put our white gel pen in. That's gonna be perfect. And we'll do the white gel pen next. Let's look at our card while we're waiting. So we have, oh, we have to do these letters. Maybe we'll wait until we see where they're gonna fit on the card, and then we'll know what color we wanna use. So if I zoom out, move that light so you don't have to look at light. Okay, we have, I'm going to set that aside for a minute while it dries. Oops. Grab my trimmer so we can trim these. Now, we did pink and green with our dragons. I think we did really good. What do you think? They look, I think they're going to look good. But we need one more color of paper for the card base. And I feel like, I don't think I want to do it. Do I want to do it blue? Do I want to do it blue just like that one? Nope, because I don't have any more blue cut. So maybe let's try a few colors. Let's see what we think. We've got this color, might work with that. The base is dark blue, but I think that would go. Or the other one I have is maybe like a pink, like this. What do you think? I kind of feel like it needs to be the color that's not the the dragon. I just called him a dinosaur. Okay, let's go with these two. All right, so remember I said this is a regular A2 size card. This is an A2 size card, just a regular A2 card. And I folded the top panel in half. So now we have a Z-fold. So if you've ever done that before, now you know how easy it is. Just like this, and then this piece in half. Now, we're gonna take this one, and we're gonna fold it in half. Where's my bone folder? There it is. And we're gonna decide if we want to, we can make the same exact Z-fold and add them to it, add it to there, or we can flip it around and add it this way. Which way do I want to do it? Maybe this way. Maybe we'll do it this way. So now all we have to do is decide how wide we want this extra piece to be that's going to go in here. So we can just choose, you know, you know what, we'll just stick it in there and we'll just cut it, and wherever it is, it is. And I'm going to turn it around because the side's not lined up perfectly. And I am going to just pick like random. Let's see. Now we're going to cut this off. So this is a A2 card. See, we just cut the top and bottom. And then we're going to make this one shorter. So cutting on the open end, not the closed end. Don't do the closed end. You will regret it. So this leaves us some extra pieces that we can use as accents as we're going along if we decide we want to do that. So now this one will go inside the card. But we're not going to glue that down. So it's going to open up all these different ways. Oops, I'm a little bit off camera. So see how it fits in there like that? You can put it up or down or as far in as you want, you know, whatever you want. Like there's a lot of manipulation you can have going in there. But I think what we're going to do is just put it right in the center like that. So now we have to cut these papers to go with it. Now remember, this is not going to get glued down there. And we need a paper in the background here. So my guess is to use this paper on the background here because it matches both of them. So I'm going to cut this one. We know that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So we're going to cut it at 4 by 5 1/4, and I want both those colors on there. So I'm going to cut a little bit here and a little bit here so I can keep those colors that I want on there. And then we're going to attach this one here. This one will go on top of it, so it will match both of them. Pretty cool. I like it. So that's a decision we made. I like to glue down right away because I don't like to be able to change my mind, because then I could be sitting here all night trying to decide which way I think looks the best. But if I just commit right away, then we're done. And we don't have to worry about changing our minds. That's one way I finish cards faster, is just commit once you make a decision, and don't allow yourself to change your mind 500 times before you're done. There we go. And since we have this color in here, I kind of think this will look really cute if we put this one on the front panel. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Now we know this was 4 1/4, so this is probably 2 1/8. So I'm going to make the piece that I want to put on there, I'm going to do it 2 1/4, because no, let's do it 2 1/2, because I think I want to cut some off the other side as well. Yep. So I'm going to cut off of this side. Since this is 2 1/8, I'm just going to cut it at 2. I think it's, yeah, I think it's kind of perfect. Maybe just a tad bit more. Let's just do like 1/8 more. Or maybe a 1/16. Something really small. Perfect. Okay. And it's 5 1/2. So I'm going to cut this down to, I think I'm going to go, let's go down 1 1/4 inch smaller than 5 1/2. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so that fits on there super great. So committing yet again. So I knew I wanted all 3 of these colors on here. I just wasn't really sure where I wanted them. but we're committing each step of the way so we don't have to stress about changing it up. There we go. So far, so good. I think it's cute. What do you think? So far, so good. All right. Moving my scraps because we might could use them. All right. So now the last one that I have is this one. And I like that one on the inside. And then we'll also probably put some on this one as well. So I think I'll put the white square in here, since that's where I'm going to want to write this sentiment. And we'll put this one inside here and here. For the outside, we'll probably add this one because it will match up with the flowers. And that was 3 sheets of paper. And there you go. And I think maybe this one go this way so we have the colors separated, kind of like we did before. So I think we said 2 inches. Guess what we decided. Maybe just a hair more. I think I'll do it on this side, so I take a little of the orange off. There we go. I think right there. And then we'll cut this one down to the same size we did the other one. And this one will go right in here. It lines up width-wise. It's a little bit skinnier, but I kind of like it like that. So we're going to commit to this one. And we're going to have to measure that smaller piece that's going to, I think they called this like a ZOY-Fold or something at Craft Roulette, something they made up. ZOY-Fold, Joy, I don't know. Anyway, they had names for it, but I'm not sure that.
Combination of the Z-Fold and the Joy-Fold.
Yes, and I don't even know. I couldn't even define Joy-Fold or whatever for you. I can only do Z-Fold, and then this, whatever this is pretty cool. So I need to measure this so I know what size to make my squares. So I'm just going to grab my ruler here real quick. And this piece is 4 inches by 3.5. Wow, that was pretty easy for eyeballing that. That worked out pretty good. So 3 1/4 by 3 3/4 will give us that piece that goes right there. Perfect. And now we need a white one for the inside as well. And I have some scrap white paper right here. So we're going to make it exactly the same size that we just cut. So 3 3/4 by 3 1/4. Hopefully I did that right. Yep. That one goes in there. And see, this, you can build it up like this, or you can cut your paper ahead of time, or whatever you want to do. However it works easiest for you. And then we'll decorate it up with our little words and our little babies, our little baby dragons. Our fancy schmancy baby dragons. So cute. So this one goes here. Oop, get out of the way. This is the one that we'll write our little note on for, you know, whoever we give it to. We'll put this one on the other side. We have one more side for sure to cover. Oh, look, I cut that one right on the flower. But I'm not crazy about that flower, so we're not using that. Here we go. So that fits in there pretty nicely. Nice. All right, we're rocking this card right now. I'm going to use my bone folder one more time, just to make sure I get a really good fold right there. And then we need one more for the outside of this. And I kind of like it with this one. And if I don't, we can use the reverse side. But I kind of think the flowers, looking like the flowers are spreading over to this one, looks really cute. All right, same. So we need 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. Same size all the way around. Works out perfectly. So that one fits right there. How cute is this? Stinking cute. And we could use that. I mean, you have a lot of options, but I think I'm going to go with the, well, you know what? I think I'm going to change my mind. I think I'm going to put this side on there. I think I like it better. Yep. Committing. I just make that decision that fast. I don't even take 5 seconds to change my mind. Once I say, yeah, I like that, I'm done. I'm moving on. Let's take that out just so I can get it straight. There we go. Moving it a little bit over. Nice. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and put this inside. This is going to be a nice sturdy card because there's the card base and the pattern paper, which is so pretty. So what I want to do is kind of center this one, but I am going to eyeball it. Seriously. I am. I tend to do that quite a bit. Right about there. Then this one will fold inside. Look at that. So there it is. Super easy, but all those pretty, you could do it like that, or you could do it like that. When you open it up, it has all those pretty colors in there. Wow, I'd almost say it might even look really cute with just this, these letters in white. Here are our dragons, and we'll put our white gel pen on as soon as we get them on the card. I kind of feel like I want this one up front because it's green and it works perfectly up here. So we'll center that one. Super cute. I don't think that word hello will fit on the front. Then we're going to open it up. And maybe we'll just put our little dragon on the inside. Oh, maybe we could put our little dragon here. Nope. I think I want our little dragon over here. I think it'll close with our dragon there. Yep. Perfect. Let's do that. All right, here we go. Committing. Now, it's only going to have that one sentiment on it that says hello, so I can make it anything I want. I could make it a baby card. I can make it a hey friend card. I can make it whatever I want because I'll still have space on the card to add to it. I'm going to flip it over and rub it. So we get a nice good hold there. Flipping it back over. And look, when they're open like this, they're going to be kind of sitting together. Isn't that adorable? I like how these make me feel like they're a little book instead of a card, but not as much work as a book. Cute is that? It almost makes me think like a baby card or a Mother's Day card because it looks like it has a mama and a baby. I love it. Now, I was thinking I would put this hello And I'm thinking I might just, I don't know, do you put the H on the, do you put that tall this way or this way? I really don't know. We could put the hello down here. And it kind of looks good in white. That's really cute. I like that. I do think it needs a little bit of color, but I don't think it needs a lot of color. So I think what we're gonna do is pick an extremely light yellow and just put a tad around the outside. And since I wanna put it around the outside of the letters, I'm gonna put them on here so I can just color right on them. Look, I wrote whole. All right, maybe this one will be the good one because this is the one that we used for the dragon. So it'll match everything. It's perfect. So I am going to use the chisel end. So if you never use the chisel end, this is a great way to do it. So I just make sure that my little letter is on there, on the sticky stuff. And then I just kind of estimate around it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just put a little bit around the edges without coloring the whole thing in. And you can do the same thing around here, but want it to be a little thinner, so I'm going to use the brush nib. That way I don't have to worry about it so much. We'll let that dry a little bit. I'll probably hit it with the colorless blender in a minute. These will be a little bit easier than the E was. But at least it'll give us a little bit of color and still match our paper. Little bit. Oh, that wasn't stuck down. Bummer. Yeah, I could just turn it over, but colorless blender will fix it. So it will be all good. A little bit around the center. And then our H should be fairly easy. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not what people are focused on when they get the card. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my colorless blender real quick. Blend that, just soften those edges. It's kind of like using another color with it. But we're just going to soften those edges right along that area. It'll just make it blend together nicer and not look so harsh. So just touching that inside edge. Again, I'm using the chisel end so I can do it kind of fast and not spend a lot of time sitting over it. This one I have to do a little bit more because I went a little far on that one, but it's okay. There we go. You can do this right on your sticky mat. Stay, H. There we go. And it looks a lot messier on here. I think when we put it on here, it's going to look nice. Scooch up. So cute. All right, I'm committed to that. So here we go. right there. If it gets glue outside, don't worry about it. It dries clear. You don't have to worry about it. It's fine, fine, fine. Look, we left these letters from a long time ago when we were making a card, and I knew one day they would come in handy, so I just left them on there, and sure enough, today we're going to use them. I'm going to put my O down first so I can work with my L on top of my O for that one little spot that has a little bit too much color on it. I'll be able to put my L right over top of that. See? Right there. It's such a light color that it's not a problem no matter what, no matter how much you have on there. Okay, so far so good. What do you guys think? You guys are so quiet tonight. So quiet. White gel pen on the eyes. I'm going to put a little bit over here where I went outside the line so nobody can tell because I didn't feel like getting my colorless blender back out. And put a little bit here on the little tail. We'll put a little bit on this one too. Just maybe the other one too, since they're right on the top of the head. So cute. Let's do the same thing on this one. So right here. Come on. My white gel pen's running out. And I want to get every single bit of it I can. So I don't want to replace it yet. I want to get everything I can out of it. Yeah, they're not cheap, so. There we go. I didn't have any little, oh, I had the one little mess up right there. So this is a second cheat. You can use your colorless blender or you can use your white gel pen to fix it. Yeah, super cute. I was going to put some white in here, but I don't think you can even see it. So it's not really going to make that much of a difference if I put it in here or not. I kind of wanted to, but white on white, baby. You might be able to see it when you're in person, but not going to be able to see it right now. Look at that. So you can leave this under and hide the baby dragon, or you can put this on top. But I definitely think we need some bling. What do you guys think? Do you like it so far? Oh, I got some cool colors in here. We're almost done. You having fun? Make sure you come by tomorrow to see what we have in stock. So we have this one color in stock that I don't think people have noticed how awesomely amazing it is. So I'm about to show it to you because I think it is now my favorite one of the dots. And it's this one. It's like, it's almost like a clear, but it's not. It has like a very light blue in it, but has a darker blue glitter. And oh man, do I love that color or what? But in this case, I'm trying to decide if maybe yellow might be better since there's a lot of yellow in this one. So I'm thinking maybe, I don't know if I want like more solid yellow or this one. It has yellow with sprinkles in it, which is kind of neat. This one has, I don't want to mix them up. I got some in one hand and some in the other. That's the more yellow one. I think I like this one better. I'm gonna go for that one. I also thought about the pink, but I really feel like it's the yellowish green that needs to be on there. So like this one. These slippery little suckers are wearing me out. Here, here. And the little one maybe up there. And then that way when this sneaks in there, I think it'll look really good. And maybe we'll add a few to this side too. But for now, let's put them right here. So right here, and right here, and right there. And I think I'm going to use my picker tool instead of my tweezers, because I tend to sit here with those tweezers like for freaking ever trying to get the pick of those up. Oh, that one needs more. I always do that. I never put enough glue on that last one. I don't know why. I'm not worried if it comes outside the lines, because if it comes out from underneath it, because it dries clear, and I've tested that like a million times and I don't have to worry about it. It dries clear and you can't even see it. So I sometimes wipe it off just so it doesn't look too bad to you guys while you're looking at it, but for the most part, when I'm doing them on my own, I don't wipe that off. I just leave it there because it doesn't really matter. But just so you guys can see, and it looks cloudy right now because the glue's still wet underneath this one. So it'll look a little bit more cloudy until it gets done. And I think because of the way this card lays, that I probably want to put a few more like over here on this side, just so we have an evened out amount of these. So I think what I'm going to do is put 4 on that side. I just may put a few smaller ones instead of the really big ones. Oh, I'm probably going to need more glue. Nope, that one's okay. And then here's a smaller one. And then I'll do a smaller one again. And then we'll do, I think this is 2 together. I can't tell if it's a 2 together or not. I'll just grab one from in here. There it is. This one, oh, we are going to need more glue. This one will go right here. And if you want, you could always add like a little small sentiment with this one, like on this front. But I think it's perfect just the way it is. I like to press these down with my soda press, just so I know that the hold is good. It kind of spreads the glue out and makes sure it gets like a really good stick. And I love that. So I know you guys been quiet. So tell me, what do you think? Do you like the card? Do you like the shape? Will you try it? That's a lot of questions, right? You can't type that fast. My answer. What do you think? I mean, you can do so much with this card. I just love it. Here we go. You ready? I just dropped more of those. There's a dragon. Ta-da! You can sit it up if you want with your little dragons on there. Isn't it cute? I like that paper a lot. Next time we'll flip this around and do it the other way and see what that looks like. So cute. What do you think? You like it? I'm super ready for tomorrow, you guys. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Did I freeze and no one's here and I'm talking to myself? Wait, I'm always talking to myself. Well, I hope you guys like that. I hope you'll check out the baby dragons in the shop because they are so stinking adorable. I just love them. And I am looking forward to talking to you guys tomorrow. These are some of the other dragons that are out there. There's one more. It's a flying dragon. So if you go check it out, you'll be able to see the other one too. So there's 4 in this set. It's a lot of fun. My paper is from Stamplistic, in case you were wondering that. It's called Flowering Pastel Patterns. That's what I chose on that. And then I will see you guys on tomorrow night. And you'll get to see my face instead of just my hands. So 8 p.m. Central tomorrow. Be there. Don't miss out. Here's one more close-up look in case you want to check out the dragons a little bit more. Look at that. Aren't they pretty? The eyes look so much better after you finish coloring. Really cute. Anywho, thank you so much for joining me. You guys are wonderful. I'll be posting this up on YouTube if anybody wants to watch it again. And on YouTube, I will list all of the Copic colors that are used in the video. So if you need to go back and watch, you can do it there. And I appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you tomorrow night at 8 Central. Good night.